crawling and crawling insects.
That surfaced based on the United Nations plan to invade Haiti.
What a painful moment in history this is for us, but a moment which I'm sure we all understand requires of us to discharge our responsibilities.
Between the 4th and 7th of July, the heads of government of the Caribbean community meeting in Barbados as part of its summit agenda reviewed the situation in Haiti. At the end of that review, the heads of government expressed grave concern that notwithstanding the numerous efforts of the international community, the legal regime in Haiti had refused to relinquish control and had failed to honor the commitments entered into in the Governor's Island Accord regarding the return of President Jean Bertrand Aristide to Haiti and the restoration of constitutional authority. Now, our military and police forces have been met in Puerto Rico, here in Jamaica, to examine the physical and manpower contributions which the CARICOM states could make in speeding the resolution of the Haitian crisis. I think I reflect the views of all gathered here, that we would like no better news than a report that the coup leaders have left Haiti and that the way is now open to the international community to reinstall the constitutional authority in that country and embark on reconstruction.
In Barbados, opposition leader Owen Arthur says the focus is on the development of a vibrant economy. Mr. Arthur addressed the convention where his party, the Barbados Labour Party, presented its 28 candidates.
The fanfare, the orchestral music, the cheering crowds, the procession of party banners signal the arrival of BLP leader Owen Arthur. He says he wants to build a new society with a blend of old and new in his party. As part of the rebuilding effort, he says the focus will be on the country's economy.
A strong, vibrant export service economy with tourism in all its facets, the offshore financial sector and the information sector generating the foreign exchange and creating a lot of jobs, a rehabilitated manufacturing and agricultural sector creating more jobs than at present, a vibrant construction industry, a vibrant retail trades with duty-free shopping extending into Spikestown, Swan Street and all across the country. But I fundamentally see Barbados coming to terms with the problem of unemployment by our bringing the small business sector into the mainstream of economic life.
All of the candidates made short introductory speeches, but among those featured was candidate for the city Billy Miller, and she spoke of urban renewal in Bridgetown and a whole new way of life for the many vendors in the city.
A Barbados Labour Party government will seek as a matter of urgency to establish permanent vendor sites with adequate sanitary facilities in and around Bridgetown and off the highways. Existing produce markets will be refurbished and brought up to modern-day standards of retailing. Craft markets will be established in Bridgetown, Spikestown, Old Town. If you turn to page 21 of this manifesto of the Barbados Labour Party, you will see that it speaks about facilities for beach vendors.
The BLP's manifesto is expected to be distributed tonight at the four party meetings to be held at Lamins St. Joseph, St. Martin's St. Philip, Wavell Avenue, Blackrock, and Bayville, St. Michael. Vera Walcott.
Still on the election beat in Barbados, Prime Minister Erskine Sandiford plans to set the record straight before the September 6 election. The Honorable Minister says he will address in detail all the issues raised against him which led to the vote of no confidence in his leadership. Novelyn Brewster has the details.
It was 11:20 when the LP candidate for St. Michael South, Prime Minister Erskine Sandiford, emerged from his constituency branch office at Cargan, St. Michael, to the strains of the party anthem. 5 minutes later, at 11:25, he was uttering his first words in his first major appearance in this election campaign. He pledged to respond fully by September 6th to all the charges brought against him in the no-confidence motion. But according to Mr. Sandiford, last night's appearance was just the opening chapter. He dealt with one charge, that he lied to Barbadians. He denied this using aspects of the structural adjustment program to do so. He said the 8% cut in public servant salaries was repaid, the stabilization tax abolished, and the stabilization program with the International Monetary Fund lasted 18 months as promised.
The program is achieving what we said it would achieve. Our inflation is low. Our foreign reserves are up. And unemployment is falling.
Mr. Sandiford got support from the LP candidate for Christchurch East Central, Robert Morris, who compared him to the biblical Moses who led the people out of the wilderness. And he says when this country's history is written, Sandiford will be credited with turning this economy around.
Both Jamaica and Guyana are experiencing a deep degree of adjustment fatigue. The people are losing motivation, and the more they try, the deeper down they go. But Sandiford and the DLP, in 3 years' time, have changed around this country.
And the LP candidate for St. George North, Antoinette Thompson, cautioned black Barbadians against belittling their successful brothers and challenged them to become entrepreneurs, even if it means pooling resources together.
When you have a skill, but you don't have the capital, look for another black man like yourself and get going.
Brian Lara, the favorite son of the Trinidad and Tobago community, got his wish when Cabinet approved the location for his dream home. The announcement came from Prime Minister Patrick Manning at a groundbreaking ceremony of a Brian Lara promenade.
First, the yellow band maxi taxis migrated to another part of Port of Spain. Next, it was the Drag Brothers who moved on to their new home. The way is now clear for Phase 2 of the Port of Spain Beautification Project, or as it is now called, the Brian Lara Promenade. Architect of the project, Colin Laird, says the 2 blocks will be similar to the completed portion, with one exception. A stage will be built to accommodate performers. This phase is expected to cost $1.8 million. The commercial banks are footing the bill. Prime Minister Patrick Manning referred to several other projects, such as the transformation of the old police administration building into an art gallery. He also announced the imminent establishment of an urban development corporation.
I'm Charles Gibb.
Renewal and development of our cities and towns, and its first priority projects include the construction of the new Performing Arts Center at the Princess Building site, the restoration of the old police headquarters building as an art gallery, improvement of the areas to the east of Port of Spain.
The relaxed atmosphere of the proceedings was disquieted somewhat by placards and chanting in the background. The last of the Drag Brothers, who were recently removed from Independence Square, had returned to protest the conditions under which they have been living since they were ousted.
Life has been a hell because I have my children to feed and I have my family to see about during for this coming school term. And well, it's 2 weeks now on the breadline and things has been real hell.
Their complaints prompted Prime Minister Manning to hold a street conference of sorts, seeking to give assurances that their matter would be attended to. Vendors say they are no longer reluctant to take up their new place of business in Diego Martin. Paolo Kernahan, TTT News.
The crisis in Haiti continues, as we hear in this report from Linda Patillo.
Father Jean-Marie Vincent was a leading supporter of Father Aristide, part of the inner circle of priests close to Haiti's exiled president. The 49-year-old priest was assassinated just yards from his church, ambushed by gunmen armed with automatic weapons. U.S. officials hinted that the murder had made an invasion of Haiti more likely. But many believe the Clinton administration is reluctant to take such action, and that reluctance has only emboldened Haiti's military.
We are asking the international community, are you really willing to have a solution or not?
The pro-Aristide wing of the Catholic Church is one of the few remaining voices of opposition to the military here. Earlier this month, a group of priests denounced military commander General Raul Cedras for bringing armed soldiers into the National Cathedral. But even in a country where political killings happen every day, until now, the priests were the untouchables. That a priest could be targeted is seen as a chilling sign that no one here is safe. Linda Patillo, ABC News, Port-au-Prince.
We'll take a short break now and then come back with the weather.
Each year, someone wins a free pickup in the Burton Dupany Giant Draw. This Giant Draw 94 win 2 vehicles free, and you are in when you buy from a range of the finest home appliances, world-famous brands, Edessa, Murphy Richards, for less. Save money with the Burton Easy Payment Plan, up to 24 months to pay. And with every $100 purchase, a free ticket for Giant Draw 94. Prizes throughout the year, and the grand prize of not 1, but 2 vehicles free. A loaded Nissan pickup for you and another vehicle for your little friend. This Giant Draw 94 Burton and Company gives you more.
We'll begin with information on the latest tropical depression. This is the 5th one we've had in the Atlantic Basin. It was classified as a depression about noon today, Eastern time, down here in the Bay of Campeche. And this hour it's centered at 20.7, 94.0 west, and that's 265 miles east-southeast of Tampico, Mexico. To get you oriented a little more, that would be northwest of Ciudad del Carmen. It's northeast of Veracruz, and it's about southeast of Tuxpan, Mexico, and it's moving toward the west-northwest at 7 miles per hour. We believe that that motion toward the west-northwest is going to continue tonight. We also think that in the next 24 to 36 hours, we'll see it turn a little bit more toward the northwest, perhaps, and that's going to be bringing the center up in the general direction of the upper of the coast of northeast Mexico. We don't think quite as far as southeast Texas, but we're going to have to watch that. As far as intensity is concerned, we think there's quite a good chance that this is going to be a tropical storm. It hasn't developed an awful lot during the afternoon, but the last few hours we can see some increase in the intensity of the heavy showers. So we still think there's a good chance that this will be a tropical storm. And if so, the name is going to be Debbie. So you folks along the Gulf Coast, of course, you will want to keep good track of this until the center finally gets inland, because, as you know, once a tropical storm gets inland, and once the center of it does, it's not going to intensify any further. Looking now at our upper winds here for just a moment, we still have a ridge of high pressure over the Atlantic, a wave just coming off the coast of Africa. We have another upper low that's centered over Florida, and that's kind of drifting off toward the west. And then we have a low over Mexico in the upper atmosphere. We don't see on this map. It's going to kind of squeeze this high pressure ridge that's over the depression, and it remains to be seen whether or not that possibly could inhibit development just a little bit. Quite a concentration of showers now out east of Florida over the Bahamas and north of Cuba. These are primarily associated with an upper low. The pressures are pretty high there, but they have fallen a bit. in the last 24 hours. So we'll be watching that to see what happens as this upper low moves off to the west and moves into the Gulf of Mexico. We only have one significant tropical wave out over the Atlantic, and that's the one right off the coast of Africa. Just moved off, lots of showers associated with that. But that's the better part of a week away from the Caribbean Sea and be 10 days away from the mainland U.S. So a lot of time to watch that, so we won't worry about it today. Now, we have one tropical depression out here in the East Pacific. That's 1,430 miles southwest of Cabo San Lucas, which is right here at the tip of Baja, California. It does not seem to be getting much of any better organized as time goes by, moving off to the west. That's the tropics.
Well, that's it for tonight's news. Join us again tomorrow for another edition. From all of us here at Mappin Television, have a good night.
like ATT. Get truly...
My soul sings